In our brief consideration of the template of the psychocultural transformation, we see that quote-unquote history represents a breakaway from the primal pattern, completing in the southern or lower template what was only suggested in the upper template, remembering that the spread of civilization and the process of history are actually descriptive of the radiation of man and hominization of the planet. We see that the return to the primary template, post-history, is the inevitable evolutionary stage that occurs once hominization is complete. Since the two templates bear a generic, if not a holonomically genetic, similarly to the two halves of the brain, the two cerebral hemispheres joined by but a single strip of connective muscular tissue, the corpus callosum, it seems appropriate to refer to the two crossover points of the biocultural psychocultural transformation template by a similar name, the corpus callosum of history. Corresponding to the hieratic zero latitude, the corpus callosum of history represents the two critical crossover points in the hominization of the planet, the radiation of man, the passage to history, initiato, and the passage from history, return. It is notable that the alpha and the omega points are also on the same longitude as the corpus callosum of history, the hierarchical longitude signified by the Great Pyramids of Egypt. The corpus callosum initiato represents the actual jumpstart of the CA current, civilization advance, and refers to the means by which the hominization of the planet was to be physically accomplished. This is not to downplay the spiritual elements ripened and refined during the process of hominization in history, but merely to point to the fact that the radiation of man had first to become, through a mere material diffusion of the civilization, a physical reality. Once the process of hominization has been completed, the CA template, woven all together, the quote-unquote end of history is reached. This is the meaning of the 20th century. With the crossing of the corpus callosum, return, the true radiation of man can begin. This is the meaning of the return to the AC template, which is about to commence. Having accomplished a physical transformation of the planet through the culminating material intensity of industrialization, the cost has been high. Holonomic amnesia, loss of the inherent sense of unity, forgetfulness, if not ignorance, of the fact that, although the CA has been complete, the AC is still to be finished. Because of this loss, the imminent process of the biopsychic radiation begins with an imperative, restorative healing process. Hence, holonomic recollection, the recovery of the sense of unity and wholeness, sacred order, from which we actually never departed. The fulfillment of the whole process is described by the right-hand image, the radiosonic template, the whole pattern complete. we may get a more precise understanding of the Corpus Collosum Initiato and return from a brief reading of the Kua, or hexagrams, corresponding to the numbers 16 and 17, Initiato, and 47 through 50, return. Enthusiasm shows thunder rising out of the earth and represents music, order, mass movement to accomplish great ends in a highly organized manner, as benefits the commencement of the actual civilizing process. Following shows thunder beneath the sign for a body of water, joy and metal, indicates that the activating power is now within. The tools and the attitude for accomplishing the process are on the outside and ready. Thunder as sunrise, east, and metal as sunset, west, also indicate vision of beginning and end. While the jump from prehistoric to historic is accomplished in two movements going from pole to pole, the return requires 4 movements to transit from CA South to AC North Pole. Exhaustion shows water draining out from a lake, the sapping away of vital energy. Thus, it describes the spiritual exhaustion, holonomic amnesia. Since the upper image also signifies metal or weapons, and the lower, danger, the Kua points to a warlike situation. The well. At the beginning of the return, the last image of the CA template describes the necessity of providing spiritual nourishment, which is always present. It also points to the fact that you cannot go halfway. Revolution. Molting. The first image, the other side of the crossing to the AC template, describes the complete revolution, setting the calendar in order and making the seasons clear. This is revolution that functions as the purifying, cleansing, restorative aspect of holonomic recollection. Transformative. The cauldron. The return to the AC template accomplished. The image of the wood given off fire signifies the transition to more purely psychic and spiritual forces as the governing factors in the radiation of man. The cosmic consecration without the process of harmonization would have been a meaningless exercise. This also signifies the stage that the radiosonic temple can be implemented as the basis of new technology.